Hello, this is Snow Radio, and this is my fellow host Bentley. Welcome to our show. This is episode 1. So, Bentley, what do you think of North Korea these days?
Well, it's run by a crazy fanatic man, Kim Jong-un.
Yes.
It's basically what Nazi Germany was, World War II, fascist dictatorship. Just all fascist leaders are crazy, just like Adolf Hitler and what was the Italian guy's name?
Mussolini.
Yeah. You know what's really weird? I don't know why, but there's still actually if you really look, there's this cool train station in Italy, and it has like the fascist monuments still there, like but they like managed to take a few of it down. So once you have a fascist country, you can't really like wipe that out, and that's just a reminder how I guess stuck with like the evil they are. And always fascist leaders, they promise this great like country where everyone's gonna be free, everyone's gonna be rich, provided with food, water, resources. They're gonna be the top of the line, like America.
Okay, so, but back, like, do you think that North Korea will ever attack South Korea or any other nation?
The most likely countries, that top 3 I would say, that they would invade or nuke is South Korea, Japan, and the United States.
South Korea, Japan, and the United States. You think, okay, so that's a possibility then. Because
South Korea, well, they want to get all of Korea. That's always been their main goal, to unite Korea. The Korean Empire wasn't just North Korea and South Korea. They were united. And this isn't the first time that we've seen Korea not united. Before, they're like all of us we're tribal people, then we unite, but they didn't unite together. There was a North and South Korea before, multiple times in history.
Okay, alright.
But then the Korean Empire formed, got taken over by the Japanese Empire.
In World War II?
No, before that too. And then the Korean Empire reformed, and then Japan takes them over, and then after that, Korea's just like in chaos after that because they're free, and the U.S. comes in and takes over all South.
Here's a question for you. Do you think anyone will assassinate the leader of North Korea? How do you pronounce his name?
Kim Jong-un, I think.
Kim Jong-un, yeah. So, do you think anyone will try to assassinate him?
Well, I know $20 million is spent every year for his protection.
Oh my gosh.
20 million. That's just so bad because think about, like, some people don't even have that money. So that's how you know how he actually, like, how powerful they are. In 2018, I think he assassinated his brother with drugs.
Was it his brother or his uncle?
It was his older stepbrother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not good at all. Okay, so we'll switch things up now. What do you think of the Russian-Ukraine situation as of now?
Well, of course, it's horrible. But if you think they're going to nuke each other, they're not. Because Ukraine back in 2014 gave all their old nukes from the previous Soviet Union back to the Russian Federation.
So Ukraine doesn't have any nuclear weapons?
They used to.
They used to.
From Russia, like the Soviet Union.
Oh, yeah.
Because they controlled that land.
Yes, I see.
And the Russian Federation didn't have time to take all their nukes.
Uh-huh.
Like countries like Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan.
You know your Eastern European countries, eh?
Those aren't European. Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan.
Oh, sorry. So
they're Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Russia had actually more presence than you actually think. Just as much as presence in Europe than the Middle East. Like, they had a lot of presence.
Presence or presidents?
No, presence.
Presence. Oh,
not presidents.
Presence. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you who do you think's gonna what's the end game? What's gonna happen with Ukraine?
The main thing is to invade Ukraine, make sure Ukraine doesn't join NATO, make sure NATO doesn't move into Ukraine, and make sure that they can put up a buffer zone so it makes it impossible to invade Russia.
if at any point Russia attacks any NATO country, every NATO coalition of nations has to join in a fight, and that would be a legit World War III. That would be Canada, U.S., a bunch of European countries all against Russia. If they hit a NATO country, someone who's affiliate
even if they're like the weakest NATO member, they still have to go in.
I know. So it's a delicate thing. Like, it could happen. Things could escalate quickly.
France actually wants to get out of NATO and join BRICS.
They do?
Yeah. And,
now, wait, let's
Germany was thinking about that too.
Can you clarify BRICS? Isn't that Saudi Arabia, China, Russia, South Africa, and stuff like that?
And Brazil.
And Brazil, yeah. And, okay. France wants to join BRICS?
Yeah, because they say it would be really beneficial to their economy and power structure to be a superpower.
Oh,
and NATO doesn't really give anything to them. I watched this thing, and I'm not sure if it was true, but France was arguing to Canada that you should upper your military budget. You know how much our military budget is?
In Canada. We're in Canada, by the way. Hello.
$24 billion is spent every year.
24 billion?
We're the 14th largest in military budgets. And
serious?
Yeah, and we only have 65,000 soldiers.
Okay, so you said 14 billion a year?
No, we're the 14th largest country that we spend on our military budget.
How many billions do we spend a year on the military?
Annually a year, 24 billion.
24 billion, okay, yeah.
Well,
I think Canada only has about
65,000
approximately
and 40 million people.
40 million people as the population for Canada.
The UK has 45 million people, and
it's much smaller landmass area than Canada.
The UK used to have so much more people. The British Empire had over 482 million people in it. That's more than the United States had.
Oh, back when they had the British Empire back.
Yeah, because they controlled Canada, which back then had around 13 to 10 million.
And they also probably controlled the part of U.S., right?
No. This was not then. This is when the United States. This is when the United States has finally formed and kicked all the European powers out.
Okay, all right.
Like a little bit
they had
Spain,
a presence
France,
in
and
India
Britain.
and all around. They used to say the sun never sets in the British Empire. Anyways,
doesn't the sun always sets on the British Empire?
No, the sun never sets on the British Empire.
That's impossible.
Because they had presence all around the globe.
Well, yeah, but okay. He makes a good point. I guess, I got that saying, then I didn't get that saying, now I got that saying again.
Okay, so, here's a question. Do you think that soldiers would ever invade Canada?
What do you mean, soldiers?
Like, an enemy army. No, I'm not talking about terrorists, I'm talking about, like, a legit foreign army coming on Canada's soil and invading.
The only one, that's happening right now. Like, we're not being invading, but, like, Russia's been, for years, sending submarines to the North Pole and, like, north, like, I'm talking north of Canada, and setting up flags. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, they've been setting up, like, small bases and putting the Russian flag. Oh. But Canada keeps the bases, turns the language on the computers and all that to English, and hangs up the Canadian flag.
Okay, but now, what I'm saying is, do you think that there would ever be, like, troops and tanks that invade Canada? Like, it seems kind of far out there because the only country we have a land border with
is the United States.
The US.
Not true, actually. Denmark.
Denmark?
Yes, they might be a European power.
Yeah, but they're not a land.
They have an island that we've given to Denmark.
Okay, all right, but still, do you think that there would ever be troops that invade Canada? Is it
attacking from the north is almost impossible. I know Russia's been setting up flags there, but that's not attacking. That's called kind of proxy wars, not really.
Okay.
the United States is our ally and they're part of NATO, so they can't invade us. And the United States is a superpower economically and militarily, and obviously
so if
influential.
we did get invaded, I'm pretty sure U.S. would join in.
Yeah, and also Alaska is also by the United States. It's almost impossible to invade us because of our mountains and cold regions.
Yeah, that's a good point, Billy. That's a good
And
point.
also, I know we have a small military, only 65,000 soldiers. We have a strong military. We have some of the best snipers, some of the best quality trained soldiers. We're not going down. Maybe a lot of soldiers would die, yes, in the war, but I think we could recruit at least a few million people.
Okay.
For a fight.
Well, do you think that we'll ever have a situation again that mirrors and looks like World War II? Do you think that there could be...
That'd be like World War III, right?
World War III, yeah. But, that looks like World War II.
Like the Holocaust and everything?
The Holocaust and the global war, yeah.
That's kind of already happening right now. North Korea has a Holocaust, basically, with their own
They
people.
have work camps.
Concentration camps, guys.
It's awful. It's an awful thing. It's just so horrible.
Also, Qatar, they use slaves to make the FIFA World Cup stadium.
Yeah.
And you might be saying, where are they getting their slaves? Well, they actually lie to people that are from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. I think the country's called
Wait, so where do they get the people?
They're workers that are need money and they can't go to let's say a good country like the United States or
so they don't
Germany.
pay them anything.
And they trick them to go into Qatar, and then they pay them zero amount of money.
Oh, that's awful.
And if they don't, they kill them.
That's awful, man.
No one can do anything about it. Qatar's the
Where the heck is Qatar in the Middle East?
I don't have anything to pull it up, but yes, it is in the Middle East. It's in. I'm not sure if this is actually a peninsula, but in my opinion, I call it the Arabian Peninsula.
Peninsula.
Yeah, and that's Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, Qatar, the United Arab of Emirates, and there's one other country that's a small island, and it starts with a B. I'm not sure if it's called Brunmar or whatever. I forget. It's weak though. It's weak. And Yemen, I think, is bombed so many times. When Barack Obama was in the office for the president of the United States, he bombed it almost every day with planes flying over.
Yemen?
Yeah, he set up stations in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arabs, and Oman, and bombed Yemen like crazy.
Oh, okay.
That's how.
Do they have terrorists there or something?
Terrorists, corruption, and also corruption in the United States. The United States always isn't the good guys.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Valley. Absolutely.
They might act like the good guys and they say, oh, our military is gonna last forever. We're the best country ever. No, that's not always the truth. I bet the Roman Empire thought of that. I bet their people exactly thought that they were the best, richest, most powerful nation on earth and that they would never collapse. Well, joke's on you, they did collapse.
Yeah, well...
Every country in history collapses, especially when they start printing out money.
Yeah. Yep.
That causes big inflation.
Mm-hmm. Well,
The countries are better with, I think, if you can't see us, coins, pennies, they're good with those because, think about it, it's hard, well, it's not hard to make them, but back then, they would have to bam, 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 and it took slowly. There'd be less inflation back then. That's why the inflation rate was probably only 200 billion or $1 trillion. That's a lot of money, but for global inflation, that's nothing. That's nothing on the scale. The top countries back then had that exact number of money.
okay.
So
Right. Well, we're gonna wrap things up here, and that's our first episode for Snow Radio. We'll stop it here and come and see us on episode 2.